Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, that's a problem. So what you've just seen there is a failed attempt at saving my back. Well, I mean, it almost hurt my back catching the quad as it fell off the lift. But what I meant by, a failed attempt at saving my back, I use the ATV lift to get the quad up off the ground. I like to sit on a stool as I work on it. Well, in order to make it a little taller, I just put a couple of 4x4s between the runners or the things on the lift under the frame of the quad, and it's not exactly stable. Definitely not OSHA approved. Thankfully, they have no jurisdiction here, in my mind. Anyway, I'm going to try to do something about it today. I'm going to take that very same lift and I'm going to attempt to modify it. Here's the lift in question. And I'm choosing this lift instead of the new lift because it doesn't roll as easy for whatever reason. And because it doesn't roll as easy, in my mind, if I do something to make it taller, it will be more stable. So my plan is I'm going to build some kind of structure that's going to make this taller, get the ATV higher, and save on my back while, making the ATV quad four-wheeler not fall off as I'm trying to work on it. Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures. Stick around because I have no idea what I'm doing, and well, we'll just see how it goes. So in order to successfully do the thing that we're trying to do here, I've got, I think, the ingredients I need. Of course, I have the lift in question. I have some steel, angle iron, a couple different sizes. In my mind, it made sense. I've got a metal cut-off chop saw. I've got a welding table. I do have a welder. Don't exactly know why I didn't dig it out, but it's over there. We'll get it when we need it. I have some sticky rubber padding. I have some additional longer bolts hardware because my thinking is I'm going to mount something to where the bolts go, and the bolts that are in there probably just aren't quite long enough to catch all the threads we need to do what we're doing. I, of course, have a welding helmet. I've got grinder, cut-off wheels for the grinder. I even have some, whatever it's called, some flappy disc pads or wheels for the grinder. What else are we going to need? We're going to need some clamps. We'll get those when we need them. And drill bits. Probably going to use a Christmas tree drill bit to make the whole, I don't know. We'll get to it. I think first things first, I need to strip the rubber pads off the old thing there. Actually, first things first, we need to measure it. Yep. Okay. So this, I believe, it's all the way down. Well, that one's not. This one's all the way down. And how high is it off the ground? It is 4.5 inches if we take away the rubber pad. I did measure the ground clearance on the bottom of Ruby. Now I chose to measure Ruby because out of all four of the Polaris, Polaris, the quads, out of all four of them, it is the least tall or shortest. It has a ground clearance of 10 inches and a bit. I think the 700 is like a little bit more than that. The 2570s are pushing pretty close to 12 inches, if I'm honest. But I can't go much higher than, or any higher than 10 inches total. So whatever I said that was, 4.5, I've already forgotten. Four and a half inches. We're only going to be able to add 6 inches of lift, which is better than no inches. It's better than the 4 that the 4x4 is provided. And like I said, with any luck, it'll be more stable. All right, so I've got to get this, well, this one's coming right off. Don't worry about that. I've got a bolt removed. Okay, that one came off. That's fantastic. They're pretty beat up because I've been using this lift probably for about 15 years. It's been a good lift. Missed. Oh, those came off easier than expected. That one made it. Okay. I guess it's just, we'll just take these the rest of the way off. That one over there, that's fine. Shoot, that one wasn't even tight. All right, so we are done with that for now. We're just going to leave it there so we can reassembly it later. Reassembly. Yep, the English language. It's not my friend today. So the idea behind the two different sizes of angle iron I have here, and by the way, the big one is 2-inch and the small one is 1.5 inches. The idea behind this is the 2-inch will make my new runners, and this is 1/8 inch thick, should be plenty enough to hold the weight of a quad. Anyway, the idea is this 1.5 inch one will be the leg, so let's do that, and then the bigger one will sit on top and be nice. Okay, sorry about that. And then of course these are the original pads, so I want to attach it, to the bolt hole that's there. To do that though, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut maybe up and across, so that way it kind of sits more like this, but then the side of it goes down, so we have the angle here resting on top of this. Probably weld it together, and then the side bolts into that, and that should make it so if I want to take them off, I can. I just realized what I said. Weld. If I weld that to this, it's not going to come. That's okay. If I ever decide I want to take it off, maybe I can just, I don't know, get more of these from the Harbor. Probably not. I'll need it that tall forever. So first things first, we know the top of this was 4.5 inches, so we can add, I said 6 inches. That's 10.5 inches, folks. Not only is the English language a problem for me today, but apparently simple math is a bit of a problem as well. So 4.5 inches, that means I can go 5.5 inches. And I said the underside of Ruby is 10 inches and a bit. It's the suspension's relaxed. I'm certain that I can get away with just making it 10 inches, and then this other piece will just be 1/8 of an inch sitting on top of it. I'm sure that will be fine. Anyway, what are we going to do first? Well, we're going to cut this one, the small one, you can't see that, this one down to 5.5 inches isn't right either, because now I have to, goodness gracious, I am just a train. Well, how thick is this? How tall is it? It is 1.5 inches. Okay, so if I need to stand 5.5 inches tall off of this, this is 1.5 inches. Carry the 3, add 12, that's 7 inches total. So I need 7 inches. I need 4 pieces that are 7 inches long. And let's see, I bought 36 inches. So what's 7 times 4? That is 28. That's less than 36, so we have enough metal to make that work. Okay, I guess nothing to it but to do it. 7 inches. 7 inches is right there. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay, 7 inches. Now I know there's going to be a lot of you telling me that I am using this wrong. I don't much care. And I also just realized I need to mark that better. I didn't mark it in the right spot, I think. Cutting commencing. Well, let's see how we did. Stand them all four up, and not too bad. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference between the one on the bottom and the other three, which are pretty close to identical. That's probably good enough. I just had an intriguing thought. What if they're not 7 inches like I hope they would be? They're not. I didn't account for the thickness of that apparently, and they are 6 7/8, which is fine because that means when I put the 1/8 inch tall thing on top of it, that makes it exactly the 7 inches I was looking for. That's what I was planning all along. All right, so next I've kind of laid out the orientation of the bits that we've just cut. And they're going to be orientated in a way kind of like this. Now obviously they're not going to be out at the corners. They're going to be more of sort of there. That means I have to notch out a bit on that side. So I'm going to mark up kind of where I have to cut and then drill a hole. Okay, so quite simply, I think I'm just gonna, this tip is probably, let's get the other one. Where'd the other one go? Where did I put it? It's over here. Okay. So, just gonna mark a line right there. Let's mark a line here. Nope. Both of those are wrong. Great. Okay, but will they be right in any other way? If I put it there, okay, that makes that one right. How about this one? No, but if I put it here, yeah, that makes that one correct. Okay, that's falling down. We'll just put it there. The side I need to cut is over here. Yeah. Like that. And I think what I'm going to do is just check it all once more before I get to cutting. Yep. Good. Okay. Good. And good. Zag. Now, I am sure there are better ways to start at this, but I'm starting with a recip saw just to see how it goes. Now, this may or may not work. Oh, it's squidgy. Well, what was that? Oh, I think the thing just fell out of my clamp. That's fine. Well, that cut significantly faster than I imagined it would if I was using a grinder or a cutoff. That actually went right through that. That's pretty good. Now I need to pick up the bar that fell out of my clamp and cut the others, because I think the other part of the cut I probably am going to have to do with a grinder. I just got to figure out why this fell out. It fell out because it fell out. That's fine. Woohoo, Lordy, the sparks are making you feel alive. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. Let's check our fit. Where's the... Oh, goodness gracious. Maybe I should get a different clamp. Okay, let's check our fit. So in my mind, this will just go sort of like that. The cut, oh, that's hot. The cut's not great, but we're gonna bolt it on and then we're gonna weld it, so it'll probably be just fine. Yeah. Looks like this one. I've got to get closer here on the edge. Whew. It's not easy when you're battling fire crotch over here. We'll clean that up with the flap wheel later. That's fine. All right. And lovely. Okay. So that means that this is now going to fit over that, more or less like so. And we'll bolt it on. So I'm going to mark a hole, because that's what you do before you drill. You mark where you're going to drill, and then you drill it. Yeah, that circle. It's not much of a circle, is it? That's more like an oval. It's good enough. Mark our hole. Let's clamp her down. Let's see, which one of these should we use? Probably this one. How deep does it have to go? Pretty deep. Yeah. Oh, I need a drill. Okay. Battery. Yes, please. Good. Let's get some oil. That's a good idea. Let's get some oil on this here. See if that's big enough for our bolt. That might be too big. Well, here's an old bolt. That is perfect, actually. So now we just have to complete that 4 more times. No, 3 more times. Well, all the legs are cut and drilled, and I've gone ahead and mocked them up on the lift. So we can see we've got the legs bolted on, and I've actually got them square to the old pad here. So as long as that is flat, then these are nice, and that's fine. So the idea is we're going to take this 2-inch piece, we're going to weld it up on there, something like that. Now I've already cut these down. The big one, the 2-inch, the bigger one, I've cut it down to 16 inches. You can see it's a little longer than the original pad, which is about 13 inches. The frames on the 570s are almost exactly 13 inches, which makes it difficult, to get on there and, stabilize it. And all. Anyway, 16 inches front to back, that should be much easier to try to do all that. But as I'm looking at this, I do intend on welding this to here. Bolt, weld, all the things, but I kind of want something to add some strength from side to side. Obviously front to back should be good because we've got this big piece of angle here. So I found some strap, whatever size it is, 1 1/4 strap, it doesn't really matter, and I've cut it down so we can just put that in place there. And that should give some more rigidity from, side to side movement, because right now you can see it's a little, well, that's actually just playing the bolts in the lift, but you know what I mean. I think this is probably overkill, but why not? It's better to be sorry later, safe first, sorry that you weren't, better to be safe than sorry. Anyway. What's next? I don't know. I think I'm going to mark kind of here and around so I can go at this with a flapping wheel, get this paint off of the old runner. Might clean up some of the sticky stuff down there too. Definitely not doing that. and then do some cleanup on the edges here, you know, so we have something decent to weld to. Y'all know I'm not a welder. I'm not a fabricator. We're just doing things, making it up as we go, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well, we tried. Where was I? Oh yeah, got to clean up some surfaces so we can do some welding. Well, it's about that time where I'm going to put a welding helmet on. I've got this thing kind of put back together after cleaning up some of the metal. Got the welder set up. Again, no clue what I'm doing. We're just going to make it up as we go. But it's time we start putting this thing together. I have some welding gloves. There they are. Okay, welding gloves. Here's my welding hat. That's good. Fabulous. Let's start right here. Oh, that's a gap and a half. Oh, I think I'm out of wire. Great. No, not out of wire. All right, so we're going to try this again. Turns out it needed a new spool of wire. Anybody's curious, this is the cheap, and I mean cheap, old. I think I got this welder on sale from Harbor Freight like 12 years ago. It's the 90 amp flux core welder. I'm running a .030 flux core wire. I don't know how the settings work. I've got it turned down. There's two heat levels, minimum and maximum. I've got it on minimum because maximum tends to burn holes in metal, oddly. I think I paid like 80 bucks for this thing on sale, like I said, like 12 years ago. For what I do, it's fine. I don't need anything fancier. It'll do. Anyway, I had to put a new spool of wire. The old one was jamming up, and I thought there was something wrong with the welder, and it was just the spool of wire was whatever. Let's see if it's going to work better now. It feeds, so that's an improvement. All right, let's see. Yep, I'd say the welder works better now. It's too bad my welds are crap, but that's okay. Could be penetrating, might not be penetrating, who knows? Well, it's a good thing we don't do welding for a living. Let's just say that. So here's the thing. You've seen me throw down all these really nasty, ugly booger welds. I'm not gonna get you in here close because plenty of you that do fabrication and welding are probably just screaming at your television or your phone or your iPad, whatever you're watching this on, and thought I missed a spot. And to be honest, I'm not interested in hearing about all the things I did wrong. Look, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me rephrase that. If there's constructive criticism, let me know. But like I said, I'm not going to bring you in nice and tight because it doesn't look good. But as long as it holds a quad up, it's bolted, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, let's see if we can't clean some of it up. You know what? I think I want to put the runners across the ends, so I should get clamps for that. Ooh, that's hot. There we go. I think that'll do for now. I mean, it ain't going nowhere. So far, ugly, but decent. So now I think I need to take this assembly off of the lift again, and then I can do the runners that go, you know, in that way sort of direction, and get those. I'm wondering if I should lay them on there and at least get them tacked before whatever I just said I'm gonna do. Probably, I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and tack them on, and then we'll take it off, turn it upside down, and finish full-on booger welding it together. Sounds like a plan. I think first let's get it higher. And that's pretty much as high as this one goes. It'll go higher, but the safety catches won't catch it on the last thing for whatever reason. Okay. Let's try to get these at least a little bit centered. So 1 3/4 inches. What, did I eyeball it right on the money? Yep. Okay. Let's see, this is probably going to be near impossible to do something. So I think let's just put our ground on that. Sure. I think first what I'll do is I'll come up under here, see if I can't get just a little bit. I'm gonna have to hold it because I don't know how to clamp that. Roll in, roll in, roll in. Oh, goodness. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Ow. All right. Sounds good. I guess we'll see. Oh God, it's heavy. Put it. Oh God. Okay. All right. Now let's see if this thing will go back together. It's a little on the toasty side. Okay. Whew, hot. Indeed. All right. Well, good start. 2 of the 4 bolts fit. You know, when you're welding on stuff tends to get hot and it will change shape and size, but it's going back together. Don't look at these welds. I told you, don't look at my welds. Okay. Should be able to tighten all them back up. That'll do. Question is, will it go back down? I think so. Oh yeah. The jack on this is, well, you can't push if you push the release all the way down, it stops. You have to hold it a little bit off, and then that spring right there is not really all that strong, so it takes a little bit of weight to get it to go back down. Well, it works. Let's take a measurement. We were aiming for about 10 inches from the surface of the ground, and we're at 10 1/4. I think that'll be just fine. It feels strong, looks horrible. That's all fine. I think I need to clean the surface off here and get our rubber pads installed. All right, so I'm just going to use some paint thinner. Clean off this surface here. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Yeah. Groovy. Okay. Scissors. Here's this thing. This roll of rubber pad, which is probably not going to stick. That's just fine. Nice crooked cut, to be expected. I don't really know the best way to do this. I'm sure it's not the way I'm doing it, but it's kind of working. Kinda. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. Oh, it is sticky. I like that. Well, it ain't perfect, but that is plenty okay with me. I have this roller thing. Let's pretend it's going to help. How did I do that? Oh, okay. So I think what I did was I just kind of put a little notch, made this too small, and then I think I just ran it right down the edge, kind of like that. Oh, that's crooked. That's a horrible idea. Let's just stick the whole thing on there and then do that. Yeah. Well, who cut this? They're fired. Okay, well, the good thing is if that ever doesn't work out, I've got plenty more. Well, I guess there we have it. Let's get it on the ground. Let's bring a quad over here and another quad over here and the other lift over here. Let's jack them up in the air and see what kind of comparison we get. So now it's time for a test. On this side, we've got, where's my finger? Okay, on that side we have Darth using the standard Harbor Freight current model lift. Notice there's been no adjustments or modifications made to it whatsoever. And on this side we have Dusty, which will be supported by our new and improved old model lift with the lift enhancing modifications made to it. I'm going to set y'all up and we'll see who wins the lift battle orama thing. All right, here we go. First up, we're lifting Darth. Here we go. Shoompa, shoompa, yep. Ooh, lift it, lift it way up. If y'all don't want to watch this part in great detail, you can just fast forward. Uh-oh, we've got a little bit of a, we need to oh no. We're gonna have to reposition. The lock has got in there. We have to reposition. We're in the wrong spot. We got hooked on a fender. All the things. Disaster has befallen us. Okay, here we go. Try it again. Yep. Lift it now. Come on, baby. Yep. If you don't want to watch this, you feel free to fast forward. As a matter of fact, I'll do it for you. That's it. She's up. Or he's up. Here we go. Let's give old Dusty a lift with the new Liftomatic, Liftorama. Again, feel free to fast forward. And if you don't want to do it, I'll do it for you. Shoot, we're not even close. I think the jack in this one needs fluid. It won't go up all the way. That's okay. You can see the difference. Don't mind that water pouring out. I just washed them yesterday and that's just water coming out the frame. But that's a pretty big difference. Now, I don't think I have these far enough forward on the frame. You can see it there. We're on Darth with the standard, obviously, but feels pretty good. Not bad. It's a little front heavy. Let's come over here to Dusty. Again, I think we can probably work it back but it seems to be equally as sturdy. I think we could have gotten more of it under whatever that is, under the frame. Let's have a look at this side. Yeah, we definitely could have, because we're not protruding out that side. But you know what? That's okay. That just means I have to do a better job of positioning said lift under it. Well, here we are. This is a bit of a better illustration of what is now the difference, and it is significant. I had to stop and fill the jack on the one we modified with fluid, pop the little fill bleed cap in it, said put the jack fluid in, and now it lifts all the way up, which is fantastic because that's the whole purpose. Anyway, looks like it worked, and I'm hoping that that's going to help me save my back and hopefully make it a little more stable, and that might even lift one of the ends of the Arctic Cat, just maybe, without having to build Jenga blocks on top of it. Anyway, I think that's going to do it. But before I go, some of you might have asked, well, aren't you going to clean that up and paint it and make it look nice? No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it as it is. It doesn't go outside. I'm not worried about rust. I live in the desert. It doesn't rain here. The welds are what the welds are. I told you, don't look too closely at them. And it's good enough for what I need it for. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's functional, seems to be strong, and it works. Oh yeah, see, we're off the ground there on the back with Darth, but woo-wee, that one's flying high. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Just a reminder, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to making these things. I'm not a fabricator, I'm not a builder, I'm not a welder. No clue what I'm doing. It just made sense to do that, so that's what I did. Anyway, you know, if you made it to the end of this, that's pretty dang cool of you. If you wouldn't mind, I appreciate all the subscriptions and all the comments and people liking the videos and sharing them. But when you're making the comments, if you have something to say that's going to help me, by all means, say it in a way that's going to help me. Don't be mean. That's not necessary. Anyway, that's it for today. Listen, y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now. Not gonna lie, that thing is soaring like soaring California.